Hmm. All right. I know it looks like it's been rebuilt, but the sound system is still in bags and unpacked ever since the Elks Lodge gig. So to take the studio on the road, I have to single-handedly tear it down, mark all the chords because it's been set up in the studio, for a year plus. So you got to tear it down, but you got to mark the cables. There's a lot of moving parts, and I got old man brain. So I've got the painter's tape, and I've labeled where each chord goes, which channel, which mic, which guitar, PA, and I do have a new component to the studio, which because I went up to Guitar Center wanting a newer, smaller PA system with monitors. And the guy said, well, if you have an open mind, let me show you our latest electronic component. It's this Bose. So it's basically a one speaker system. You can use Bluetooth. It's got 3 channels in the back and a channel for the line out, but you don't have the multi-channel. And of course, like everything else, there's an app, a Bose app that goes along with it. So you just indicate within the app what instrument or what type of mic you're playing, and it will set the sound based on your equipment you're using, which is pretty cool. So you don't spend half your day programming your sound. So this is the newest component, 2025 versus 1995 gear. But the older analog gear is pretty solid sound. So anyway, the Bose was a very nice ad. So that was what I used as a supplemental PA speaker as well as part of the PA. So no monitor was needed because it's got 140 degrees of sound. So this is just one small component of what I've got. I see we've got some chat. Hello, welcome to the channel. This is the first live stream in a while. I was out in the wild last time, but today we're going to do a studio rebuild. And that's the plan anyway. We'll see how far we get. So bear with me as I rebuild the studio. This is BaronSmithPicker live inside the studio with a studio rebuild because it's too damn cold to do anything outside. Before we get too far, I don't have hats and t-shirts, but a friend of mine from work made these. I don't have business cards, so he made koozies for me. So here you go. I've been giving them away, but if you're interested, shoot me an email. Tell me what brought you to the channel. What's your favorite song? What's your favorite outlaw song? Independent artist. But BaronSmithPicker at iCloud.com, or you can go to my website, BaronSmithPicker.com. This is my logo. It's the 2 horses. The song my dad and I used to sing called The Union Mare and Confederate Gray. 2 horses were standing. And that's where the logo came from, and the flying bee. So he took my logo and put it on a koozie. Who doesn't need a koozie? When you get t-shirts, you got to deal with size. Does it shrink after a wash? I don't know. I'm not a laundromat, but I can give you a koozie with my logo on it. BaronSmithPicker.com. So reach out to me if you're interested. If you need a koozie, Got different colors. Tell me your favorite color. If I don't have it, I'll see if my man can get it. So, but anyway, that's all I got today, other than all of my music in my library, all, 350 plus videos, songs. I've written them, I do covers. So if you like anything music, you've come to the right place. So, all right, we're going to see if we can read this chat. So what do we got? Oh, how much for the speaker? It was probably in the $600 range for that Bose speaker, brand new. I didn't I didn't look for a discount. I was pressed for time. So, but the guy was a studying sound engineer, and he let me test it out in their soundproof studio at Guitar Center. So yeah, that Bose speaker was probably 600, 650, something like that. All right, Big Mac 67 says hi. Hello, Big Mac. No habla español, I apologize, but welcome to the channel nonetheless, Snime. So, hecho es único. Sorry, no hable, but glad you're here nonetheless. Got my Ryan Bingham concert t-shirt on. Saw him in Oklahoma. So anyway, we're going to get back to the studio rebuild. At this rate, I may not get too far, but I at least have to figure out what I've got in these bags. Oh yeah. This is the guitar I tool around with inside the studio. It's an FG200 Yamaha. It's probably manufactured in 1968, 69. This guitar is about as old as I am. But it was out of commission for many years, kind of like me. And then, like Roy Rogers, I took it back to the blacksmith, in this case, Zoo Music. And he was able to repair the tuning knob for me, which was stripped and damaged. And it's one of the best sounding acoustic guitars I own. So I write a lot of songs with this one. Since I'm live streaming, I'm a little hesitant to play anything because it will intermittently interrupt me. I've seen it do that in the past. So, but today this is all about the studio rebuild, but kind of showing you my equipment as I go along. So this is the FG200 1968 Yamaha acoustic guitar, and it belonged to my dad, and he passed away and left it to me. So that's the story behind this one. All right. How are we going to do this? This is my Takamine that I played religiously at the Lone Star Cafe and Club and back during my band days. See if this shows up. Acoustic, what is an acoustic stick guitar? Sid Federer, if you say hi, I'll give you $100. Hi. $100 tip coming, as Nick would say. Nick Brownell in Key West. That's what you call an IOU. Nah, buddy, you don't owe me anything. That's not what this is about. We're just doing a fun little live stream, all things music. So this is the Takamine. So this is an electric acoustic. Here's the settings. The 9-volt battery goes in here. And we've got basically, like a miniature EQ with a volume control and then another master volume over here. So you've got bass, middle, and treble, and then volume control. And of course, you can ultimately control through the Bose or through my Fender Brain, which I'll show you here in a minute. It's the main control board. So this is the Takamine. I've had this Black Takamine electric acoustic since 1998. Yeah. So I try to keep it in good shape since it's kind of my go-to performance guitar when I'm not playing the Fender Telecaster, the 72 Blonde. So we're going to actually leave that where I can get back to it. Kind of like show and tell. Trying to keep up with the chat too, so I apologize if I don't get to you right away. Yeah, but what's an acoustic stick guitar? I'm not sure exactly. What I've got are acoustic 6-string guitars. So you might be talking about the single or dual string, basic mountain music acoustic stick guitar. Would be pretty cool. I've never actually played one, but it's amazing what people can make music out of if they have a will and a mind to do it. So I'll have to dig into what an acoustic stick guitar is and get back with you. So that's a very good question. I appreciate it. Megan Self 6462 says hi. Hi, how you doing? Megan Self, did I read that right? Yeah, Megan Self. Jill Smith Lucky says hi. Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. I may not have the best angle on this, but we're just doing the initial setup. So bear with me. It's my first live stream in quite a while. All right. Usually we start every show. Is that showing up? Yeah. So, and with that, we begin. BaronSmithPicker.com, inside the studio rebuild, live stream. All right, to start the studio rebuild, you need a circulatory system. In this case, you need cords. All right, these are very necessary instruments. So I wrote a song this past year called It's Time to Play the Maracas. I actually went and recorded it in Key West. So that's on my channel too. So it's time to play the maracas. In this case, it's time to break out the maracas to rebuild the studio. It's time to rebuild the studio. So those sound really good. They look really good. But if you want a little more of that sound, you've got the eggs. These are baby maracas. They're going to grow up to be maracas. And then it will be time to play the maracas. All right. We got a capo, we got my harmonica, we got the drumsticks. You just never know. I may have to fill in for the drummer and the guitar player some night. So, that's the suitcase. All right, Felix the cat pulls out his bag of tricks. And in this bag of tricks, we have Gwyneth Paltrow's head. No, just kidding. That's a reference to the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow. But I do have something just as important. The disco ball, because you can't put on a show without a disco ball. This particular one is battery operated. It will hang, it will be suspended, or it will set as a desk mount. Isn't that cool? We'll put it next to the gong. All right, what else do we have in here? Oh yeah, if this was duct tape, I would call it Arkansas chrome, but this is painter's tape. This is what I use to label and mark all of my cords when I transported them. When you lift and shift an entire studio, you got to know where it goes when you rebuild it in a short period of time, like a fire drill. All right, and you never, ever can have too much cowbell. So, will the music police get me for ringing the cowbell? But believe it or not, there's a technique to playing the cowbell. You don't want a full-on cow in the bell. You got to have it muffled somewhat. But you don't want to muffle it too much. You want to have it like Mick Jagger, you know, or Don't Fear the Reaper, or I could go on and on with songs that have used the cowbell. Lover Boy, Everybody's Working for the Weekend. Honky Tonk Woman, Honky Tonk Women, Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones. Will Ferrell in one of the funniest skits of all time, Saturday Night Live, Don't Fear the Reaper. There were multiple takes of that. Check it out. Not to mention, Laurie the Dancing Queen and I collaborate, and she is my cowbell aficionado. So she joins the studio from time to time. So if you check through the library, you'll see videos of Laurie and I performing together, collaborating. So she's my cowbell player. And the best manager in the world, Megan, bought me this, or actually sold it to me at a good little discount. I used this at my Elks Lodge performance. It's a Super Chorus CH1. We got output, input, and this basically takes an acoustic guitar and makes it sound like a magical French harp. Now it actually adds effects to it to give it a fuller sound like a 12-string guitar, which that's one of my favorite sounds, because I love the sound of a 12-string guitar, but I just don't like maintaining a 12-string guitar. It's twice the strings to tune, twice the strings to clean, twice the strings to change. But when you've got it set up and tuned, it sounds flawless, sublime. But in the meantime, I use a chorus pedal. So I don't have to use it on the 72 blind Fender Telecaster because I'm running it through an ultimate chorus Fender amp. I don't know if you can see it, but it's still covered up. So hence the studio rebuild. I must uncover it and realign all of the settings, hook the Telecaster into it, and get back to work. All right. So we've got, luckily, I've got my backup mic, my Audix OM3XB mic with the sponge on it. You don't want to knock your teeth out. Now, this is one of my utility mics. I'll mic the tambourines, or I'll mic the amp, run it through the PA so the guitar and the vocals are coming out of the PA speakers. So this is a utility mic. Yeah, and it's also for guest singers, first and foremost. And when there's no guest singers, I will mic alternate equipment items. I suppose I could even mic the maracas if I was so inclined. So we may try that inside the studio at some point. So, all right, so we've managed to pull one microphone out of the bag, and I know what to do with it, but we're not there yet. So we'll move on to the next thing in Felix's bag of tricks. All right, so this tells me what and which channel. Fender number 6. So it's not the Bose. The Bose only has 3 channels, and it's not a Fender, it's a Bose. So this tells me it goes into, here, I'll show you. It's a little bit heavy, but we're gonna need this. Yeah, this is probably about 80 pounds. 80 pounds of fun. All right, we're gonna get to this mic stand. This is the primary mic stand with my tambourine attached. So we're gonna set that up. So yeah, here's the primary mic stand, tripod. Let's just get him in position over here. 1, 2, 3, 4.